coughing the way you should be coughing, or you're sitting the way you should be sitting, and you're combing your hair the way you like your hair, and you think that you feel your hair looks nice, and you've gotten compliments, this person says, I don't like your hair. I don't like the way, well, why don't you like my hair? What's wrong with my hair? Well, I'm sorry you don't like my hair, but I like my hair like this. I've gotten compliments on this hairstyle, so thank you very much. Is that person telling me you don't like my hair because you're jealous of the way my hair looks? Or are you telling me you don't like my hair because something's really wrong with my hair? Okay? And that's the reason why you have to learn how to deal with people and not make apologies for who you are. Because if you keep making apologies, you'll be making apologies the rest of your life, and you'll be giving your power away to that person. And the more power you give to them, the stronger they become in criticizing who you are for them to be feeling powerful. And some of you may recognize what I'm talking about. And if you recognize that, it's time for you to walk away from that. Next thing is drop all the baggage before you cross the threshold. Don't pass go until you do that, period. Don't continue to carry around baggage. And every conversation you had is, man, she did this to me. Or, girl, he did this. Or, man, she did this. People going to get tired. They don't want to hear it anymore. Drop the baggage. Don't dare go on a date and talk about your past relationship the whole date. You didn't even give the person room to discover who you are. Or to even know if they ever want to see you again. And I can guarantee you, if you go on a date like that, they're going to want to go to the next closest door and get out of there. And some people will tell you, I got to go to the bathroom, I'll be back, and they never come back to the table. Or some people might be really nice and endure this whole charade that you're on, because it's a charade. If you go on a date and you do a person like that, you're wrong for that. So you shouldn't even be going on dates. Try to heal first. Leave the baggage at the door. Don't do it. A very important thing that many people should understand when you're in business and you're successful, self-love is part of understanding when you're totally stressed out and you're experiencing anxiety. You must find a way to relieve this. It will destroy your relationships. And not only that, but you too, your health, your relationship, and relationship with other people, not just the relationship at home. You don't want to do this. You don't want to have it where you're in the hospital and you didn't understand that health is your wealth. You don't want to build the diseases that could have been prevented because you're too stressed out. You got to learn to know when to walk away, to take a break, to refresh who you are, to refresh yourself, to refresh your body, to be able to energize your body, to put the necessary nutrients in your body, to put the things that you need in your body to stay healthy, to eat the foods. Instead of you saying, oh, I'm going to run and get a burger. I'm on the way to this meeting. I'll eat a burger. Well, eat a salad on the way to the meeting. Do some plant-based wellness. Do something water-based nutrients. Make sure you're putting in your body what your body needs. And don't just stuff food down. Take time to eat. Take time. Stop eating on the run. Take time for you. Make time for you. And do it in the best way. Do it in the best way. And it's okay to tell people no about things. Next thing you want to do is you want to balance your time. If you're working all the time, how can you give any relationship attention, whether it's your children or trying to get into a relationship or being in a relationship that deserves to be nurtured? How can you even do this if you're working 24/7? It's impossible. And then be nice and then make time for the person and then make time for the relationships. You cannot. So you need to have some balance. And it's okay to tell people, I'm sorry, I can't be your yes person. In your head, you're saying this. But to them, I'm sorry, I don't have a chance to do this. And if it's always happening at work, start taking a log. Well, on this day, they asked to do this at this time. On that day, they asked to do this, write it down. On that day, they asked me to do this on this time. And then you turn around and you can say, I'd love to be able to do all these things. And I'm trying to prioritize them, but I don't think it's realistically possible for me to finish this in the timeline you've given me. I need you to look at this. Maybe we need to get some help because I want us to be able to meet our deadlines, but it's impossible. And I think that I should let you know that instead of saying yes, 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 and then you expect these tasks to be done and they're not done because it wasn't possible for me to do them. Let me show you this. How can we accomplish this? And that's being proactive instead of reactive or stomaching it all. And next thing you're stressed and you have anxiety and you're working over. And make this practice something that you would look at in terms of if you gave someone some tasks to do in your success. Are you overloading them? Are you doing too much to another person? Are you passing on too much? Or are you getting the necessary help that you need for the physical health of your business? That's what you look at that too. That's something that's really important for you to look at. And it's a big factor in the next thing. Missing appointments, not completing tasks, which are work related, and your commitment to your job is suffering because you're trying to pull it all in and you're not checking yourself. You're not checking it. You're not balancing out the things that need to be balanced out because you got too much on your plate. So start recognizing it's okay to say no, but it's a good way to say no. Don't just say no. No, don't do that. What you can do is what I just told you. Hey, on Monday, you told me to do this. On Tuesday, you told me to do this. On Thursday, you told me to do this. It takes 3 days to do this, 4 days to do that. We can't complete on time, and I don't want it to be my problem that we didn't. Or if you're overloading someone, look at what you're giving people to do so you don't turn around and then next thing you know, people coming and going. You can't keep good people at work because you're not giving them a chance to want to stay at work. Because what you want to do is you want to unload. Get the right amount of people that you need. And it goes back to those necessary relationships, those banking relationships, line of credit, seeing your business grow. And when people can see that your business is growing and you're doing all the right things, you have your accountant there, you know what your balance sheets look like, you have everything in place, people are going to want to work with you because you're doing the necessary steps. You're taking the necessary steps to cultivate the necessary relationships for growth. And that, again, leads to self-love because then a lot of the stress and anxiety is taken away and you become more actionable in your steps of growing in your success. And that's what this call is. Not this call, but that's what this training is all about today. I'm feeling so good this morning about sharing all these things with you. My word. Now we move on to falling in love, that big old L word. Most of the time when you fall in love, you don't even know it. You just know being with this person makes me feel good and you get butterflies all in your stomach. You have the skill set for self-love down. We just talked about it. Now you're ready to share yourself with another person that is deserving of you without sacrificing who you are and without making apologies for who you are. They love you for who you are, the quirky things about you, the great things about you. And you can actually be silly and stupid with this person. And it feels good and you laugh together. When I say we, that's everybody. We as human beings, we are always going to be a work in progress because we're human beings. And we should not have to be apologetic about the process. And that's something I want you to take with you today. You don't have to be apologetic about the process of being a work in progress and bettering yourself in life, as long as you have balance and as long as you do it in a respectful way. Okay? So how do we know when our little silly selves have fallen in love? You have a happy, nervous energy. You're much happier. You have pep in your step. You're super excited to see this new person, like counting down the time until you see them again. You're on the phone all hours of the night, or when you're with them, whether you're on the phone or whether it's virtual with this doggone pandemic we're in, or whatever it is, the time just flies and it feels wonderful. And you look up and say, oh my God, we've been talking on the phone and it was 8 o'clock when we started talking. It's 11 o'clock. I need to get my butt to bed so I can get to work. Self-love, balance. There it is. Another thing is you discover new ways of doing things that are exciting. And they're simple things that you would have never thought about doing, but it just feels good. Or you could have done it with another person and it just felt horrible. But now that you're doing it with this person, it just feels so wonderful and it feels good. And you don't even really, it's not about what you're doing. It's really about who you're doing it with. That's what it's about. Spending time and doing things with this person feels effortless. It feels easy. It feels real. There's no rehearsal, no planning, your time and energy together. It takes on a life of its own and it feels so good. I remember when my husband and myself, when we first started dating, we went fishing. We started going fishing. And he went out and he bought a camper. And it was a raggedy camper at that. And so it was one of those pull behinds. And he didn't care. He just wanted us to have something to do. And so we went camping, and it was crazy. I went and stocked it with everything that I thought we needed: blankets, pillows, lights, cooking stuff. And I'm telling you, it was one of the most beautiful experiences. That we had the campfire. The camper was an inside camper, and it was beautiful. We cooked outside. We hung lights. We had our lawn chairs. He made the campfire. We went to a campground, and to this very day, we're still camping. 15 years later, 16 years later, we are still camping, but it's much better now than it was in the beginning. It is. We have a much better camper now. But the point is that it was effortless. It was effortless for us, and it was one of our defining moments of loving each other and loving ourselves together. And that's that effortless thing. That's when you get up and do things you never thought you'd do. And we're catching fish, and I was like, listen, I'm not gonna put this bait on the hook, but you got to take the fish off, but I was happy to catch the fish. Now I graduated, I could take the fish off the hook. I'm an all-around girl. So let's keep on going. I'm loving this episode. I really do. I love it. And I love being with you in the episode. Okay. And so that's when when things feel so good. And then another thing is when you got your mind on your baby and your baby on your mind. And that feels good too, because you know what? And then another thing that goes on, you get a little bit territorial with them. You get a little jealous, which is natural, but you don't get that green-eyed devil in there. That's when you start, if all this stuff is happening to you, then you need to realize you are falling in love, or you have already fallen in love. But keep continuing to practice self-love. Keep continuing to do that. I mean, this is so good today. I don't even want to break for a commercial. I'm not doing it today because I just feel good in what I'm saying to you. And I'm loving you. I'm giving you love. I woke up with love this morning. So I want to give you some love, because it's all about love. Love makes the world go round. And until we discover that and continue to operate in a humanized way with people, towards people, even if we do have to be virtual because of the deck of cards we were dealt because of the pandemic, let's do it in a way of love. Let's do it in the best way possible. So I'm just keeping on moving. I'm just loving this. And your chemistry, the next thing is your chemistry is natural, and you are affectionate and giving towards them in a natural way. It's not with force. You just want to naturally be there for them, and you want them to be there for you. And you can open up and share things about yourself that you wouldn't want to share with somebody else. And it's just natural. You just want them to know this about you. And they in turn want to share and open up with you. And that's beautiful, because you're discovering each other. You're on a discovery path. Even though me and my husband been together all these years, I look for new things in him all the time. And we're ever growing together. We grow, we learn. We're always growing and learning. And that's a beautiful thing. We take these long trips, and people will say, well, why don't you get on a plane? We don't want to get on a plane. We want to see the countryside. We don't want to get on no plane. We want to see everything. So we want to spend this time talking. Just because we're a couple doesn't mean that we don't talk. We want to continue to keep the conversation going. We don't want things to get old and things to get stale, or just reaching over and touching a person and saying, I love you. You don't have to have a reason to tell the person you love them. Just tell them you love them because you know you love them. What's wrong with that? Stop holding back. Stop holding back and holding yourself back and enjoying the things that you need to enjoy in life. That's self-love. It is. Okay, and another thing is that you start to, when you know you're really in love, you start to develop feelings of protection. You are on the same page as they are in terms of goals and their wants. You sacrifice your time for them in a constructive way.